Hey guys, and welcome to the Steel Soul Book Club. In this new series I'm making, I will be reviewing a book in each new episode with some gameplay of me playing Hollow Knight Steel Soul mode, which is if you die, it deletes your save file, just casually in the background. I think it's a good idea to combine two things I've wanted to do for a long time, which is book reviews and also play through Hollow Knight on Steel Soul mode, but I already have the randomizer as a live stream. I figured this was the best of both worlds, so let's just jump right into it. Now today on the first episode of the Steel Soul Book Club, I will be reviewing The Last Smile in Sunder City, which is, well, a book. Which is an opening line, which would sound really dumb if it weren't for the fact that you probably have no idea what The Last Smile in Sunder City even is. And if it weren't for the fact that I've never done a book review before on this channel. So what is this book about anyway? It takes place in a world of magical creatures such as werewolves and elves, where humans lie at the bottom of the social hierarchy, as usual, because they have no connection to magical energy. Well, more specifically, it takes place in Sunder City, a town which was built on top of a magical energy reservoir, and so attracted all kinds of many magical races. Unfortunately, the whole premise of the book is that humans, which were angry and scared of the magical races, kinda destroyed the source of all magic in this world. Nice one. So now Sunder is one of the most terrible places to live. It falls around Fetch Phillips, a human man for hire, wow that sounds really weird, as he tries to track down a disappearing vampire in this town. In the background though, we slowly get more information about his past, that is the past of Fetch Phillips, and why he acts the way he does, and why what happened has, well, happened. As each of the 4 tattoos he owns gets explained, we learn more about the dark world of Sunder City and more reasons why it is such a horrible place. There are many themes in this book I would like to dissect, but the most prominent is that life kinda sucks. Around every turn there's someone whose life has been ruined because of what humans have done. It's a dark and gritty fantasy world where everything magical is gone, and we're focusing not on a main character who's shooting for the stars, but a broken man who's grasping at straws. The book focuses a lot on not doing the best you can, but making something okay out of a terrible situation. This makes the book really depressing, and, well, it kinda is. Its premise is the reason I picked up this book, and it didn't disappoint. It's like if you took the movie Onward and made a dark fantasy detective noir novel, but make it extra depressing. Still the same theme of a magical world with barely any magic in it, but kind of more adult and a lot less happy. Thankfully, it also has the theme of moving on and emphasizes that as well, telling people to not dwell on the past and make a new future by showing magical creatures and humans being put together, or the possibility of some magic returning to the world. The main reason I like this book is because of its characters. Fetch Phillips is a really well-developed character. I mean, the whole book is like his character arc, so it makes a lot of sense. And he makes for what is not exactly a relatable protagonist, but he doesn't seem unrealistic in any way. He feels very human and a very tangible character. One of his so-called friends, a former werewolf, now no longer man or beast but something in between, is the embodiment of doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, and really makes you question what is good and what is evil. He kills people, but only humans who were in gangs that involved killing magical creatures, making him this strange moral gray character, kinda like Batman, but except he's a lot more, poor and morally ambiguous. There's also the point of whether you should side with humans or magical beings. Naturally, most humans would want to side, with the humans, who had no power and made themselves on par with the other races. So it's like, yeah, let's vote for the underdog, they were mistreated and they found a way to kind of level the playing field. Why wouldn't we vote for the underdog who finally has its chance to make a change in the world and actually do something that the others could not? Whoa, slow down there, champ. It's time for your favorite part of each video, which has only been included recently, as in today. The part where I promote you guys on my channel. Right here, this guy. This guy, he deserves it. His comment was just so good, honestly. He's the best. And for the runner-up, no runner-ups this time, just that one. Sorry, guys. If you want to be in the next video, be sure to comment, and if I like your comment, I'll promote you. But you must realize that they've gained this opportunity to be on par with magical creatures by destroying all magic in the world, killing some of the races off immediately, due to the lack of magical energy in the world. Overall, it feels something like you'd analyze an English class, but a little bit more interesting. Maybe kind of deeper philosophically, and a lot less random symbolism analysis. It's one of those deep books that I can really get into. Sadly, this book is pretty heavy in a figurative sense. I don't really like things that are intentionally or often needlessly depressing, but this one gets a pass in my opinion. It's a look at a fantasy world without the magic, which in and of itself is already really cool, and it was one of the reasons I liked, well, the movie Onward, which I also mentioned earlier in this review. The idea of a city having a monopoly on a kind of energy that is no longer relevant is an interesting idea economically and also as a literative standpoint. Like investing in the stock of a company who is no longer relevant, and it really adds to the story. The only people who live here anymore are the people whose lives are terrible, and we're gonna explain how their lives are terrible. It is a pretty solid book, and I would like to go more into detail if I could, which I definitely could do, but that would leave you with some spoilers, and I would really encourage you guys to actually read this book for yourself. Everyone deserves to have a unique experience with this book, and I don't want to take that away from you by spoiling it. So, go out and read the book yourself. There's even a sequel that has been published in September. I have unfortunately not been able to read that book yet, as I cannot purchase it currently, because, well, I have a bunch of other books to read. I'd like to do those before I read the second installment in the series, but go read it for yourself and tell me if it's good or not. Overall, I really liked this book. There were some parts that were hard to get to and hard to get through, but for good reason. The worst thing you can make your book, in my opinion, is boring. If your book is a total page-turner or just so bad it's good, it still makes some great entertainment, and I'm happy to say that none of this was boring. It was pretty depressing at times, but the mystery element kept me intrigued, or hopeful enough, so that I wanted to know what happened next, and it kept me going. Did the world get better and move on? Did he ever find the vampire? Well, I guess you're just gonna have to read it for yourself and figure that out on your own. It is a good story, but most of it, I have to say, feels like it's setting up for the next book. A lot of it was background on our main character, which I hope will get put to good use later in the second installment, which is called Dead Man in a Ditch. And I hope to read that too someday. But as I have not read that, most of this felt like just kind of a flashback. It was a prelude to what is going to happen next. There were a lot of moments which was just talking about Fetch Phillips' life and, you know, how he got to this position, and not actually about what the story was actually trying to tell us. Like, not much about current events. But I liked the book in the end. It was really enjoyable, and I hope you check it out for yourself. Now that we've gotten to kind of the end of the video, I want to explain why I'm making this series. This was kind of a shorter version, as you can see. I can't really talk much about a book if I, can't go into spoilers. So why exactly am I making these reviews? Well, I read a lot of books when I was a child, and there are a lot of books my grandmother sent me over quarantine, and I just decided that, hey, I'm going to be reading them, and so I might as well make some reviews about them. There were also, like I said, some childhood books that I wanted to reread just to see if they were as great as I remembered, and so that's a part of the reason I'm making this series. This was a book I read over quarantine. This is not one of my favorite childhood books, if you're wondering. No, I didn't read this when I was growing up, but it's still a great story, and I really liked it. So I'm going to be making more of these. They're going to be low-effort content like this. Easy to pump out. Just slap this bad boy over some Hollow Knight content, and boom, there you go. Steel Soul Book Club. Nice title. Anyway, I thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.